Hi, Nathan. Thank you for joining us today.
My pleasure.
Just very interested to catch up with you from a Glass Times perspective and find out kind of where you are now as a publication, but also you're obviously on the front line in terms of speaking to key leaders of the industry. So very keen to get your kind of thoughts and insights onto how they've been reacting to the current situation and how people are now starting to look ahead. So what would you say the biggest changes have been for the publication over the last few months?
The biggest change, I think, is how other people have responded. And of course, the government said lockdown, everyone locked down. And so that left us in that sort of limbo like it did everyone else. However, in hindsight, I don't think we changed a great deal. We quickly decided that since we're a print magazine, we should bring out a print version of the magazine. And we were in kind of a lucky situation in that we had just printed an issue by the time lockdown started. And so by delaying the May issue, we were able to get a magazine out when the lockdown ended. So it'd be landing on people's desks. We'd already decided that we'd post out to people's addresses rather than their offices in case the lockdown hadn't ended.
Yeah.
And we'd also supported it by sending out emails at our own expense, so emailing out a digital version. So that was the key point. But we felt, we had we do have 10,500 subscribers, and they want a print magazine. So I think it's a real show of strength. Also, personally thinking about it, when people go back to work at the end of the lockdown, they're going to be looking forwards. No one's going to be looking back at what was. And so by not bringing out a printed magazine, actually would have put us on the back foot. So that was also a key indicator. So apart from that, nothing's really changed. But like many other companies fighting throughout the supply chain will be worried about bad debt, but we're in the same boat as them anyway. So other than that, no.
Yeah, that's the thing. Everybody's kind of in the same position, aren't they? And you work from home anyway, don't you? So it's not like you've had to kind of get used to home working.
No, I have my family around me. That's been a bit annoying, but no, you're right. I mean, I suppose by extending the print deadline by 3 weeks, it's allowed me to spread my work out. But actually, I've still been producing the weekly newsletters, so there's been a continuation there anyway. So I haven't actually stopped at all, really.
No, and I think from our perspective, we've seen huge uplift in kind of open rates for emails and engagement on social media. So I can imagine you probably experienced the same as a publication, if not more so.
Well, certainly the ability of our industry to talk has been its greatest asset, I think. There have been webinars, there have been conference calls, there's been a lot of discussion on social media, either that's Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. I have spent a lot of my time interacting with people. I might not have been actually laying out physical pages, but I have been talking a lot. And so from that point of view, in some ways, I've been more engaged than I would doing it on any normal week.
Yeah, though I think a lot of people have said the same. It's a lot of people have been just picking up the phone to have a chat, just to kind of touch base and feel connected to people. And then in terms of news from the industry, have you still been receiving the same steady flow of news? Has it had a COVID bias, or is the split the same as usual?
There was a drop initially, because I think everyone just literally dropped. They stopped everything. And then there was a bit of a lag of things that are already in the pipeline, so we did get things through. I've certainly managed to keep running product and project specific stuff, but all those news stories related to COVID-19, about working practices, about how some companies are keeping open a skeleton staff to support their customers. There's also been a lot of discussion in the industry about what's considered essential work. So some companies have legitimately been carrying on working, while others, especially the retail focusing side, have had to close down. So that's all been going on. And that's the sort of discussion that we've been carrying on in the newsletter. And certainly, yes, everything else fell away. But because of that 3-week lag I talked about earlier, we've had that flow of work come back again in time for the issue anyway. So if you compare our April, May and our upcoming June issues, I don't think you'll see much of a difference, because it's all been working there. And certainly some companies have used this period to their advantage, and have not in a cynical way either, but in order to talk to their customers and to the industry.
Yeah, and I think some people have really come back and hit the ground running, haven't they?
I think so, yes.
It's good, it's exciting times. And then if we turn the focus to kind of next year, Fit Show 21, obviously our days were fixed in the calendar before COVID hit. I mean, goodness knows what would have happened if, well, it wouldn't have happened this year, would it? But in terms of having that dateline for 21 secured now, we feel like that's going to suit the industry. And if anything, you know, it gives everybody something very positive to look forward to and work towards. It'll be the first show in Europe for 2 years, over 2 years at that point. Do you feel the same? Do you think we're right?
I'm sure there is still an element of uncertainty, but I do think the industry will be ready for it. I mean, I think you've got things you've got to take into account. There's going to be, everyone keeps talking about this new normal, don't they? I think that we will have be practiced by then in terms of washing our hands, keeping our distance. We may even be wearing masks. You don't know. I reckon by then we might have masks where you can see through, because I think that's the biggest problem with wearing a mask. It shuts you out, doesn't it? Yeah. But this issue that's just landed, David Thornton of the window company contracts was talking about the Fit Show, and John, if I read what he said, I was just paraphrase slightly, because I agree completely with it. Yeah. The next Fit Show, scheduled for May next year, will be immensely important for the industry. It will be a celebration, an outlet for the pent-up frustrations. I will regard any exhibitors at the 2021 Fit Show as companies that I am more likely to do business with, simply as that they have not only survived, but they can afford to be there both financially and logistically. By then, they are likely to rationalise their products and services and will have taken a lot of hard decisions during the lockdown that will make those companies leaner, fitter, and simply better to do business with. And the weaker companies will have gone. The May 21 Fit Show will be a filter, one that highlights the more successful, better managed and better funded companies in our industry. I think that is really, really true. And I think that if you, as a marketing exercise, if you can say that your goal as a company is to be at the Fit Show and to display a range of new products and services and to talk to your customers about how you can support them, I think it's a great flag. I think it's a great opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that hits the nail on the head from a business perspective. And then looking at it from just a human interaction and a human need perspective, I feel like we'll all be ready to kind of get together and celebrate that by that point, and just be able to see people face to face and, you know, get up close and personal with the products and just engage all those senses again. So, you know, hopefully that's a very positive milestone for us all to look forward to.
Yeah, absolutely. Completely agree.
And then in terms of how we've all responded over the last few months, do you think there's anything we could have done differently?
I've given this some thought, actually, because exhibitions by their very nature will have had a tough time, and it's not just you, it's Glass Tech, it's Fenestration in Nuremberg, it's many others. And if you also, I'm sure that being in the industry business, you would have been following all exhibitions very closely. And at the end of the day, quarantining and social distancing don't go very well with exhibitions, do they? But I think at the end of the day, over the last 3 months, I've been spending a lot of short periods in people's company, you know, with Zoom, with Microsoft Teams, WhatsApp. I've done a lot of talking, you know, with a lot of different people. And I think at the end of the day, that's what something like the Fit Show offers. And I think that's what people will take away from this.
Mm-hmm. Brilliant. That's great. Thanks, Nathan. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.